Alright, I'm Terry, and today I'm going to give you my unhumble opinion on the 1998 Japanese classic, The Ring, or as I like to call it, Ringo. Now this video was requested by one of my internet heroes, the curly girl at the movies, and she wrote me this letter. A letter from America. Sorry, I sometimes just can't help myself. Now, in all honesty, I've never seen this film until yesterday, and it was absolutely tremendous. You know, I just can't believe I'd held this film off for so many years. I just didn't have an appetite for Japanese horror films. I went through a phase of really dark, gruesome horror films, and then I just sickened myself of them, you know. I don't really have much of a stomach for really violent horror films, and I always sort of just made the assumption that a lot of these Japanese ones were just gruesome, because I'd seen a couple of Japanese horror movies and they were just nasty for the sake of being nasty. One in particular that I just could not stand, and I don't even know if it even classes as a horror film, is Ichi the Killer. Saw that on DVD one time, and honestly it just made me sick to my stomach. The Ring, when that came out, I just remember a friend of mine had it on, taped it off television. He taped it off television off of Channel 4, and he showed me the most, you know, the crucial scene in the film, the television scene. I'm not going to go into it in case you've never seen The Ring, because if you haven't seen The Ring and you don't know anything about that scene, then I envy you, because it is absolutely fantastic. A few years after it came out, me and my brother went to see the Scary Movie 3, which I wish I never did. I think that Scary Movie 3 kind of ruined The Ring for me, because it mocked the film so intently that when I seen some of the scenes yesterday in the film, I couldn't help myself and go, oh yeah, I remember that, where they were just goofing around. I managed to sort of get it out of my mind and really just, you know, take it for what it was, put myself in it, you know, try really hard to just imagine that I'd never seen anything about this film before, and I found it extremely compelling, especially you know, it is a very lean film. It's like an hour and a half long. It doesn't have a lot of baggage, and it's a slow burn. One thing I love about a good horror film is a slow burn. I don't like just getting thrown into the violence and guts and blood straight away or anything like that. I like a horror film to build. I like it to marinate. That's what I like from a good horror film, and I felt like I got that from this. Raiko is this journalist who is investigating a series of mysterious deaths where people have died 7 days later after watching some allegedly cursed videotape. As she's naturally inquisitive, she watches the videotape herself, gets a telephone call 5 minutes later, and she's advised she's going to die in 7 days. Knowing this, she gets more into trying to discover the origin of this videotape, bringing on board her ex-husband. He does everything he can to investigate this tape, and to the point where he actually, you know, he watches it himself. He never gets the phone call. He never gets the phone call or anything like that. But what he does get is he starts to develop this almost telepathic ability that he can see things in the past. It's got some really tense moments, and it doesn't do it through a lot of violence, you know. And to me that's the beauty of a good horror film. See, people forget that Halloween's a great horror film, but it's not the most violent horror film. Another great one I love is The Haunting from '63 or something like that, Robert Wise directed. There's not even a single, you don't even see a ghost in the movie, and there's no special effects, but it gives you chills. You know, it just gives you absolute chills. And The Ring, I would put that among those types of films. Now, one thing that I came away from the film really thinking about was the idea of the videotape, the cursed videotape, and it got me thinking about just the history of videotape and how it was kind of polarizing. Now, if you go back to the early 1980s, they had the video nasties scare where a lot of these sort of right-wing conservatives and tabloid newspapers did everything in their power to prosecute video stores, video distributors for making dumb horror films, basically. The one thing that I remember coming out off the back of that was David Cronenberg's classic Videodrome, where it even went a stage further into the idea of videotape corrupting the mind to the point you become a sort of controlled assassin. Unlike now, where everything is all high definition 4K, but there was something quite eerie about videotape. Nothing quite looks like it ever, and I think The Ring was kind of the last sort of era of that, of making videotape seem like something unnatural. As a child, I was absolutely obsessed with videotape. You know, I used to collect thousands of them. Thousands upon thousands of them. That was what I did with my money. And every time I got pocket money, it was the video store. It was going to the bars and buying old ex-rental tapes, you know, like this absolute masterpiece, Serpico, right, which I just could not part with, just because it's just, I mean, come on, Serpico, you know what I mean? You know, it's just amazing. And you know, and the thing is, one thing I would say about The Ring that was disappointing for me is that although they had this really, you know, this disturbing videotape, if I was to investigate that videotape like Raiju does in the film, I would have used a head cleaner, you know? I would have at least used a head cleaner, because the heads on that video machine, they look dirty, you know, they look like they needed a good clean. And this one, you know, this old Fuji one, you know, Japanese and all, Japanese head cleaner, you know, perfect. You know, that would have sorted out the whole problem. I would have solved that mystery in 10 minutes with this head cleaner. I would have done it, nae bother. You know, I'm really happy with this film, and I'm compelled to watch more of them. I want to see the sequels, the remakes, the prequels, the short films. You know, I've been a fan of Curly Girls videos for you know, over a year now. It was only just recently that I actually, you know, spoke to her through the comments and stuff on her video channel, and the you know, the Ring movies feature quite heavily there, and I just, you know, it's just kind of something I went, I never really felt that I needed to see them. They didn't look appealing to me, you know. Some zombie girl with long black hair, that doesn't scare me. But I'll tell you this, the movie did have some chilling moments. There was I was at my work today, right here in this room, and I was just sitting there at my desk, and this door just behind me just sort of swung open. I don't know if it was probably from the wind in the kitchen or whatever, and I honestly just froze, you know. I just thought, here she comes, here comes Sadako, she's coming to get me, you know, and I'm going to be, you know, made me want to take a picture of myself to see if my face was all distorted, like, oh yeah, that's that, I love that little motif that when the characters know they're cursed, they take a photograph of themselves and they just look like, This kicked off the J-horror subgenre, I suppose you could call it, where you got The Grudge and you got Pulse and all these other ones, which, do you know what, I dismissed a lot of them, you know, too busy watching Weekend at Bernie's too, do you know what I mean? It's just, I've wasted my life, you know, that's the thing, I've wasted my life watching absolute garbage, getting some feedback from people that are saying, review this, you know, going to review this, and I've been asking them as well. I want people to show me films. I want to see films that are worth seeing, you know. I don't want to, you know, sit through The Room again, you know, or some other just absolute gubbins, you know. I don't want to laugh at the film. I don't want to laugh at the film. I want to laugh with the film. I want to enjoy the film. I want to see something that blows my mind. I'm going to end the video by saying thanks again to the curly girl at the movies, because I wouldn't have stepped out of my comfort zone and watched one of these J-horror films unless she persuaded me to do so. If you want me to watch a good film that you like, or a film that you're not entirely sure about and you want to get a second opinion on it, then send it my way, and I will do it. I'll put it on a list, and I'll even communicate and let you know when it's going to be done. Right? That's how decent I'll be. Anyway, it was really nice talking to everybody out there. I love talking about movies. Leave me a comment if you want to ask me anything at all. Just go for it, and I'll respond. Okay? I love chatting about films. I could do it day and night. I have hardly slept all week because I've just been up all night chatting to people about films. You know, it's a dream for me to talk about films. So if you want to talk to me about films, go for it. Go for it. I'm not going anywhere. You know, and thank you for tuning in. Have a great weekend. All right.